What's going on with all my money motivated stars? Now this video gonna be about what is a flex? What is your flex? You know what I mean? And basically the thin line between peacefulness and loneliness. You know what I mean? So when it comes down, I say what is a flex? This video stems from me seeing the picture of Maya, the singer Maya. You know what I mean? She's always been beautiful to me. You know what I mean? So I seen an Instagram picture of her. They had a picture of her in it was the same picture, but they had like a picture of her in 2003 versus a picture of her in 2023, you know what I mean, which is currently, you know what I mean? So they was like, she not aging. So she's divinely aging. So when I go to the comments, I see a comment that stick out. You just like, having no kids at 40, being lonely is not a flex, you know what I mean? And you know, you got a lot of people in the comments that was defending her, like it most definitely is a flex. She ain't getting stressed out by the industry. She's vegan, you know what I mean? So she's living her best life. So that is a flex, you know what I mean? So when it comes down to it, cause I had to talk about it because it's the exact same situation I'm going through now. You know what I mean? Me being in my neighborhood, like I said, I'm abstaining from sex, but I label it celibacy, you know what I mean? Because I do it for spiritual reasons. So when you abstaining, you just abstaining from sex. When you just call yourself abstinence. But when it celibacy, when it comes down to celibacy, it's like you're abstaining from sex until you get into a marriage, you know what I mean? Due to religious beliefs, you know what I mean? I have spiritual beliefs. So that's why I call myself being celibate, but I don't dive into the marriage thing, you know what I mean? Like I said, when it comes down to spirituality, I believe in having a spiritual marriage, but not doing the traditional thing, having a wedding, doing all that. I feel like this your life, you can make your own rules. You don't have to do the traditional, you don't have to go about things the traditional way, you know what I mean? You can do things how you want to do them. Because a lot of people do traditional things when it comes to positive things, and a lot of people do traditional things when it comes to negative things, you know what I mean? So to get mad at me and say, oh, why you don't want to get married? That's the positive, traditional thing to do. That's just like asking me why I don't want to eat meat and get diabetes like the rest of my family members. That's a traditional food that they've been eating, you know what I mean? It's a tradition to eat pig and pork, you know what I mean? Pork, the same shit. But eat chitlins like pig feet, you know what I'm saying? Meatloaf and all that. That's a tradition, but I broke that, you know what I mean? Because I want to live like how I want to live. If I was living my life for my family, I would still be eating meat and a lot of chips and Cheetos and all these things. I would actually have went to college and tried to do this what this person told me to do. No, you know what I mean? A lot of people don't really live their lives for themselves. They do things based off tradition, and that can be the most stressful, loneliest path you can take if it's not your genuine path. If you're not consciously making a decision in your head to really want to do that, and you're doing it because you've been told or it's a tradition, you know what I mean? I ain't never seen no movies back in the day of them episodes where the wife would get married into a family and she really didn't like the dude, so she'll end up running away, but the father be so mad because it's a tradition to marry somebody they really don't know, but that person will be so unhappy. They have those movies out there for a reason, because it's actually people out there like that. So just because I choose peace and you take my peace as a form of loneliness, that's all up to that person's perception on what peace and loneliness is. Because I know whenever I'm sitting on the porch, you know what I mean, just eat my fruit, don't have my phone in my hand, I know it looks kind of weird, you know what I mean? And I know y'all probably say like, how is that weird? You know what I mean? Just picture, because some of y'all probably do it. Just picture everybody in today's society walking past my house, because I stay on the main street, or next door neighbors, just seeing me on the porch. Sometimes I don't have my phone in my hand, just out there eating fruit, just looking at, you know what I'm saying? Just looking at the world, looking at the birds, looking at the squirrels, looking at the animals, just walking by, the dogs, the cats, you know what I'm saying? We have strays, you know what I mean? So that looks weird. It looks very lonely, you know what I'm saying? I can see how somebody would picture that lonely in today's society. Like, this man lonely as hell. He don't never have, you know what I'm saying? He don't have never had no traffic coming through here, you know what I mean? unless it's a family member pull up and they just see me outside or whatever. But my lifestyle looks very lonely. You know what I'm saying? I go to the park by myself. I go to the movies by myself. I go a lot of places by myself. So they can be considered be lonely. You know what I mean? But whole time it's peaceful for me. You know what I mean? A lot of people's families stress them the fuck out. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of people's families age them very quickly. What they don't know. You know what I mean? Some people, they marry into a good they find a good spouse and they family keeps them youthful. You know what I mean? So you gotta be very cautious on choosing your family. You know what I mean? Like choosing your woman and impregnating her. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't ever know what kind of traits your child is gonna get. You know, your traits, like sometimes traits skip generations. You know what I mean? So you never know how that person, especially if you're not cool with her mother or her grandmother, you don't know what kind of traits they have, because sometimes the apple don't fall far from the tree, but sometimes a lot of traits skip generations. So you got to be very cautious on how your child is going to come out. You know what I mean? You have to get a lot of stuff straight before you even consider having a family. And most people have families at young ages. You know what I mean? And this is no shot against nobody who had their child, you know what I mean, at 16, 17. But that's why I didn't choose to have children. You know what I mean? I had some close encounters, you know what I mean? But as I got wiser, I was like, okay, I've got more control of my urges and what I really wanted to do. I was like, I don't want to bring a child into this, on this planet, you know what I mean? If I'm not, this is my experience, my opinion. If I'm not spiritually evolved enough and I'm still going through life trying to figure it out, I want to have my life figured out by the time I bring a child in the world, so I'll be able to help them navigate. You know what I mean? Give them their own life and their own thought process, own opinion, and all that, but still be able to guide them in a way that I wasn't guided. You know what I mean? Be able to give them foods that I wasn't given as a child. You know what I'm saying? To help their thought process. You know what I mean? Make sure the mother of my child is breastfeeding and not using Similac and all. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it, because like I said, I'm not judging nobody who give their child Similac. Shit, I probably drunk this shit when I was young. My mom probably got tired of me sucking on the nipple. You know what I'm saying? Probably gave me that too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying like how I want to do things, and I'm not judging my parents. Like I said, people who was raised by this government. So I'm going to something else. But like I said, that's peace to me. You know what I mean? But when it comes down to loneliness, it's a lot of people who in relationships now, they feel lonely. It's a lot of marriages that's ending right now because they like, oh, I feel like I was the only one in love. A lot of people going to sleep right now with their spouse feeling as lonely as possible. Just because you're by yourself does not make somebody lonely. And just because you're with somebody does not make you not a lonely person. You know what I mean? It doesn't make you less miserable. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people out here in relationships, they dying, begging to get out of this relationship, but it's the financial situation that they dealing with. It's certain type of terms that they dealing with that they cannot escape what they going through right now. But they feeling so lonely, you know what I'm saying, with a person next to them. I done felt their feeling, you know what I'm saying, being with somebody that you can't relate to, you know what I mean? You probably outgrew. Y'all can't talk about this, you know what I mean? This person doesn't like expressing their feelings, so they walk around carrying angry energy. So now they leave the house every time they get mad instead of you talking about it. So now they can left you at the house lonely. So you in a relationship lonely. You know what I mean? You got your child at the house, you taking care of your child, you know what I mean? And you got a whole family, but you lonely. You got everything you can dream of, but you lonely. You know what I mean? So, like, what is it all depends on what a certain type of flex is to a person. A flex to a person could be having $1 million in the bank. But that's not a flex to me, because what you gonna do with the money? You know what I mean? Or are you just gonna let the money sit in your account and just say you got $1 million and die with $1 million in your account? You know, but that may be a flex to you or somebody else. You know what I mean? So we gotta just start recognizing and really looking at the definitions and the experiences that come behind these words. You know what I mean? Is somebody really lonely because they're by themselves? You know what I mean? Or somebody really peaceful, at peace, or living their best life because they in a relationship? That's not always the case. You know what I mean? So I just addressed those comments, you know what I mean, that was in that one little picture, because like people just have a misconception on what happiness is. You know what I mean? A lot of people are very unhappy with themselves. You know what I mean? So when it comes down to it, what's your definition of peace? What's your definition of having a flex? What's your definition of loneliness? Because it's not everybody's definition. You know what I mean? So you can't project your feelings onto the next person and think that having a child, being childless at 40 and not being in a relationship is loneliness to somebody. You know what I mean? That may be somebody's heaven on earth. And being in a relationship to them is hell on earth. You know what I mean? Heaven and hell is what we make it on this planet. You know what I mean? So that's all I wanted to say. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. Y'all hit the notification bell so y'all be notified every time I drop a video. Y'all be blessed on walking in smoke.